This is part two of the video talking about mixing and monitoring situations and living situations and the challenges and conflicts and the overcoming of it. So I was in a situation where I didn't have a lot of space. Finally moved out from living with my family again, so I was able to break my monitors out, but there was still someone above me in an apartment, and this was a really small apartment too. There was somebody living below me, and there was somebody living across from me on either side. Okay, so in this situation, people were hearing me. Some say, "Hey, can you turn that down?" Stuff like that. I'm like, it's the middle of the day, for crying out loud, But here I am, need to be considerate because at the end of the day, they have the right to file a complaint. Noise complaint. I'm the one with the speaker system. I'm the one making the noise in a living environment, especially an apartment living environment. And so they had to right away, and mentally I had to yield to that. So I always had to have that struggle of, okay, I turn it up, turn it down, and you're trying to focus on your music, but you're worried about everybody around you, and that's the struggle I dealt with for a long time. Now, I'll get to it, but eventually, I actually had to build my own recording booth to kind of help me have more privacy. And the problem is that I would be working on a song, and they would hear me work on a track over and over again, and they'd be like, "Oh, he working on." Hey man, I like that song you working on, man. Hey dog, what you got? Hey man, you got one? What's up on stu-" Knowing that I don't ever tell anybody about anything I do, ever. I will lie to you. I will lie to you and say, nope, I don't do nothing. I don't do no music. Because it's not your business what I'm doing in my crib. Anyway, I tell them the truth. How you don't need to know. But anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But the problem was that somebody's hearing me working on music. Now I'm worried about, okay, what are they thinking about it? Is they And so what happens is that's extra work. That's extra mental work that goes along with this. And you're in an apartment, and again, you're trying to be considerate, and you want your privacy. That's why people pay big bucks for studios now. Even though they can record at home, they pay big bucks to rent these studios because that's what it's for. There's privacy. There's an ability to create, and I guess they like to smoke in there too, but that's another thing. But they have that privacy, and that privacy is very important. To be left alone to work, to not be disturbed, and to be able to let your creative juices flow. If you're a creative person, you understand this. If not, maybe there's another way I can relate it to you, but I'm not going to try to do it in this video. But however, it was always that same struggle. Now, keep in mind, I've really abbreviated almost 11 years of living experiences. Not to mention practice warehouses. Where do I go with that? I had the privilege to be in a band that rented a practice warehouse. However, sometimes you be gigging, it's late in the day, and I know better than leaving my keyboard at the studio or leaving some equipment there, which is why I don't know how it got so scratched up. It could have been, I don't know. Anyway, there's no proof either way, but anyway, and it's cool because you can be loud, but the person right next to you, a rock band, can be just as loud, if not louder. They got guitar amps. All I'm working with is a keyboard amp and a couple monitors. And while it was great to have a place to record sometimes, if someone else was not recording, it had its challenges too. But maybe it could have been a glimpse of what was to come. But anyway, that was still me living in apartments, trying to still make music, pursue my dreams and goals, struggling, fighting, but not quitting. And then now, house. A freaking house. With a room I can totally dedicate to just this. I've lived in apartments that are very small, where the living room had to be the same as the studio, that has had to be the same as the kitchen. Nowhere to put things. And I say this because I want people to see that I don't want anyone to think, oh man, Delio's got it like this. No, I struggled. I struggled and I dealt with a lot. And I went without a lot for a long time. and it's not easy. It's totally not easy. But fast forward, here we are in the house. And in this situation, finally I can turn up 24 hours a day. I can use a sub now, again. Now, this means a lot to me because for about 11 years, in my own personal home, I have not been able to get a sub speaker for making music because, not that I couldn't get one, because I knew that it would have been inappropriate in my living situations. Once again, that's me sacrificing my personal enjoyment to be considerate of others. Now, other people say, "Hey, I would have turned them in. Forget." Y'all don't understand. There's a cost and a price to pay for how you treat others. There's a price. There's a cost. There's a payback. There's a effect for the decisions that you make. Yeah, I could have got a sub and turned up and say, I don't care. I pay rent here just like everybody else. I'm about to turn this. I'm about to go in, and you'll be out of a crib. And so there are reasons why I didn't do it. Now I missed it, yes, and there are some other places I could go where I could go ahead and enjoy a sub and crank it up. But at home, no. And I say that to say that if you're in a situation like any of these that I've talked about in the last video or this one, if you keep fighting, I just want to say that's not always going to be that way. You're not always going to have to be in a situation where you have to turn down so you don't disturb a loved one or family. It's not always going to be a situation where your vibe is killed because someone's listening outside of your door and all in your business, or hearing someone's voice from across the wall. It's not always going to be that way. And I look at this: God can give it and God can take it away. So if God ain't willing for me to have this, then I ain't gonna have it. But I'm gonna keep making music because I got proof that I can make the great music without the sub. I've done it for 11 years on my own, without any sub, and I've had to go without. But I think I learned how to mix great mixes because of that. Because I learned how these speakers work. Because I mean, if you listen to some of my music, you hear that I got low end in it and it's sitting just right. Well, that's because I learned how these monitors sound for a long time, and I've worked with them for a long time. And I think it's helped me wear a better engineer's hat, because when you make music and you and it puts out, everybody's not going to have the hi-fi system. Everybody's not going to have the $1,000 surround system in the crib. And so you have to always mix with that in mind. And these monitors help me do that. But now I can do better bass design and pay attention a lot more because more is revealed to me now. It's like I was painting with 2 colors and now I got 4 more colors to work with instead of painting for 2 colors for 11 years. And I just want to share this story to help encourage somebody out there, to know that things can change. Things can change. You just have to keep going. I could have stopped. I could have said, screw it. I'm never going to have a place where I can work on music and be left alone. But I kept on doing it despite the disadvantages. You got to keep working with them. And so I'm ecstatic to finally have a sub again, be able to turn up and work with it, and be in a place where I can create and be left alone for a change, and also not disturb anyone else. There's a yard around here and nobody belongs in it except for me. That's a huge difference than someone's kids right outside of your doorstep, or someone's landscapers right outside of your doorstep living in your apartment through the door making noise. That's a whole nother thing. But I hope this helps somebody. I'm at 10 minutes right now, and I got some more videos to come, but I just wanted to share this story. Thank you, and keep making music. Peace.